Hi, this is Christine Crow here, and imagine that we are applying for a contract and we all come across this question. Is there a conflict of interest? And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing and using this as a case study for when applying for contracts, for example. Now, I'm going to really make you think about the innovations and also the ethical concerns of one particular contract, which is now seems to be in the news quite a bit, which is to do with Starlink, which is Elon Musk. Now, the public, and this is from the public's point of view, there's mixed conceptions here, perceptions. And Musk has really transformative tech, is known for that, for his innovations, is a very strong figure, is the world's richest man. But there's also some ethical implications here from the actions according to the press and also the public's point of view. So imagine that you're a business owner and you're applying for a contract. Now, sometimes you may be faced with an ethical question. Do you have any connections to do with a particular contract, for example? So with Starlink, their mission is to deliver global internet access, and particularly in the underserved areas, which is, really good, for example. But in light of the recent investigations, there's an emphasis to the implications for government contracts, specifically focusing on accountability and transparency. Now, I'm going to be explaining this in the live tonight. I'm going to go more in depth, but this is going to be a shorter form video, for example. But let's look at some real decisions here, okay? Now, with regards to Elon Musk, he really has a unique position here as both the private entrepreneur, the world's richest man, who is running SpaceX, but also he also has government contracts, and is also recent discussions with regards to being allocated the Doge, for example, in charge of that, and his discussions in the Oval Office. It's pushed for pushed for really rapid growth. And this dual role has really drawn scrutiny to his self-interest in the government's contracts decisions, for example, for winning a contract. Elon Musk just won a contract just recently for $400 million, for example. And it appears that this organization, and this is from the press and the news, and I will put some links here. According to them, the US aid was actually looking at going into investigating these conflicts of interest. So recent contracts of the 400 million contract, which was awarded just a few weeks ago, for example, it highlights how this tension between business interest and government oversight, this is where the problem is. It's become mixed and entwined together. And this is a prime example of complexity involved when personal and corporate interest interact with one another. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because you are applying for contracts as a business owner from the private sector, independent sector, and you've got to be aware of some of the things that may constitute a conflict of interest. So I'm using this really basis as a case study for you to think about as well. So the third part is that this is a consequence of a conflict of interest. It can cause damage. So we'll be exploring the allegations of conflict that can damage trust, not just with governmental entities, but also with the public. For instance, if Musk's dual role continues to raise eyebrows, it could lead to the backlash not only against his contracts, but against the broader representation of the tech entrepreneurship in government. This could rewrite things. There needs to be more scrutiny. The narrative should be it should reflect how the reputational damage could hinder future contract opportunities, not just for Musk, but for all business owners that are applying for contracts. So with regards to this, I believe that this is a lesson for business owners like yourselves to really look into this, because the importance of compliance, as you know, and I can't stress this enough to you, that the robust compliance frameworks are essential to navigating a potential conflict effectively. They should proactively adapt to policies that are promoting ethical standards. And I'm sure that with all contracts, we all know, we've all seen that section where it says conflict of interest. And I'm going to go into this in deeper depth in the live tonight. What it is a conflict of interest, how this can affect you and your business, what are the consequences if found to be a conflict of interest. These should proactively adopt to the policies that promote ethical standards. So there must be transparency and ethics training as well. So you'll need to ensure that you have transparency and that it is paramount to your business. You're seeing this worldwide example of this happening now, and that the necessary disclosure to avoid similar pitfalls. So the structure provides a clear roadmap. You must ensure that your contracts that you're applying for, that you've got a flow, a roadmap to show that it is ethical and that there is no boundaries being crossed here. Whether you've got a relative working in a particular contract department where the buyer is, or government, do you work in the government sector where that contract is? Do you have an unfair advantage where that contract is? Or maybe if you have got this information and been able to start applying, and you've got insider information about a particular contract of what they're looking for in order for you to win that contract, that gives an unfair advantage to others that are applying for a particular contract. Now, let's look at the damage. It's so important to have a robust compliance policy to avoid these conflicts. You're seeing this real world example here that should really apply to all businesses, no matter how rich you are or how poor you are. There is risk involved, and there are penalties, including fines and disqualifications from bidding processes. So it can stop you from bidding in the future, as well as you lose that contract as well. So in tonight's live, I'm going to be discussing a few cases as well as a few examples of the consequences of conflict of interest when you are applying for a particular contract. So I hope that you've enjoyed this quick short video and that you found it informative, because what I want to show you is not to go down this route, not to go down this road where it could lead to a potential conflict of interest, especially if you've got a dual role. And I believe that we're seeing this with Elon Musk, the world's richest man in the world. I don't think anybody should be above what is happening here. And we need to be mindful and see this as a case study in order for you to look at when you're applying for a particular contract, and that you adhere to the rules and regulations at every stand, at every point. So thank you so much for listening to me today, and I hope that you've enjoyed this brief video, and I look forward to you joining me tonight at 7 p.m. UK time. That's 2 p.m. USA time, New York, Atlanta time. Stay tuned, because I will be giving you further updates about contracting with the government. And this is the reason why I brought this up today, because this is something that I'm also seeing in the news as well. So be mindful, and let's do this in the correct manner, and I will speak to you later. Thank you so much. This is Christine Crowell signing off for now, and I will see you tonight on the internet in my live. Take care. Thank you. Bye.